Well, hello from Parma, Italy, and today's topic is how to validate your tickets on Italian trains. I know that sounds very specific and maybe not of interest to many people, but I've found that both in my personal life as I travel around Italy by train and also on the travel forums, on the different travel forums that I browse every now and then, there is a lot of confusion about validating your ticket when you have to, when you don't, and so let's talk about it. Now, I should be at a train station doing this, and I actually tried to do this video at a station here in Parma yesterday. I was on my way somewhere, and I went ahead and had a few minutes to wait for the train, so I sat in the waiting room in the lobby and tried to make this video, but every 30 seconds, it seemed, there was an announcement about stand behind the yellow line and a train's arriving, and don't forget to validate your tickets. So some kind of validation on your ticket. So let's dive into this and let's figure this out together, because it's really not as complicated as people make it out to be. So I thought I'd come to the piazza here today in Parma and make the video here. Well, it's a pretty simple topic, and a lot of people are worried about this because if you don't do it right, you can receive a big fine, and it's important to do it right. People think they're just trying to rip off the ignorant tourists, but that's not true. It's a system that's worked well in this country for a long time. The rules have changed a little bit recently, and we'll go through step by step how to make sure that you know how to validate your ticket. Well, first of all, not every train ticket needs to be validated. If you have a train ticket that has a reserved seat, and you will see on your ticket a coach number, a car number basically, and a seat number and a train number. If you have an assigned seat, if you have a seat number on your ticket, then you do not need to validate your ticket. It's not necessary because you're the only person that can sit in that seat because you pay for it, so no need to validate it. And that would be on the Frecce, the high-speed Trenitalia trains, the Frecce Rossa, Frecce Argento, and Frecce Bianco, or the intercity train, or the intercity Notte train, the intercity night train, which are also fantastic. I've only taken the night train once, and it was a very short trip, early in the morning, and I just had a seat in a three-seat compartment. But one of these days I'm going to take the train from Bologna all the way down to Palermo in Sicily, and that's going to be a fun trip because not only is it a night train, it also is a train that goes on a ferry. So there are not very many trains in this world that get put on ferries anymore and taken across the water. So that's one. But I guess the other train that you don't need to validate your tickets on is Atalo. Atalo is the private train company that operates on the same tracks as the high-speed Trenitalia trains. They also have reserved seats. So as long as you have a ticket on a train with a reserved seat, and again, it's the Frecce Rossa, Frecce Argento, Frecce Bianco, and the intercity train. The intercity train is the slowest of the high-speed trains, but it's still a faster train than the Regionale, and the intercity Notte and the Italo. If you have a ticket on one of those trains, you should have a seat number assigned, and you do not have to check in. Now, if you're on a Regionale train, that's a different story. The Regionale trains are the slower trains, the more interesting ones from my perspective. They stop in more places, and they're on different tracks actually in most places. They don't go on the same tracks as the high-speed train, and they go to more places, more little cities along the way, and you see a different side of Italy than you do from the high-speed trains. A lot of the high-speed trains go so fast, or they go in tunnels, or you don't see much of anything. So the Regionale trains are much more interesting. The Regionale trains are fun. I've had a lot better conversations on the Regionale trains than I have on the high-speed trains. Well, if you're getting on a Regionale train, if you have a paper ticket, before you get on the train, you need to go to one of these machines. This is a validator. And you go to the machine, you stick your ticket in, it goes kathunk, and it prints the date and time that you validated on the back of your ticket. You need to do that before you get on the train. Usually these are in the station near the ticket machines. They're at the if you're in a station that has a subway, like an underground passage between the different tracks. Usually at the head of each track before you go up, there'll be a validator on the wall. Sometimes there's a validator on the track, but there'll be a validator somewhere. Look around for them. Most of them are this color scheme, and some older stations are sometimes yellow, but I haven't seen one of those in a long time, so maybe they're all gone now. And you need to do that before you get on the train. If you can't find one, or if you have a problem with one, ask. There's somebody will tell you where it is. You just pantomime. Where's the machine for validating my ticket? And pantomime pushing the ticket in the machine. Somebody will tell you if you don't have enough Italian to ask that question. And if you can't find an English-speaking person. But normally it's not a problem. Normally you can put your ticket in the machine and it will kathunk and validate it for you. I think I was at one really small station one time in Umbria where the validation machine was not working. So as soon as I got on the train, I did what you should do if you have a problem with a ticket. I went and found the capo di treno, the conductor, the train chief, and I found her down the way a bit, and I told her that I couldn't get the machine to validate it. It wouldn't stamp, and she said, okay. And she did something on her tablet and everything was okay. And she made a little note on my ticket. So that's what happens if you have a paper ticket. Now, I don't use paper tickets very much anymore because they're, you have to hang on to them. You have to get them in the machines in the train station. And sometimes there's a line. What I do if I'm getting a Regionale ticket and if I'm getting a fast train ticket, a Frecce ticket, or an intercity ticket, I buy my tickets on the app, and it's not hard to use. One of these days I'll do a video just on how to use the Trenitalia app. It's really simple. It's available in English, and as are the ticket machines. It's really not hard to use. But once you have your ticket loaded on your phone, which is what happens, it's in your Trenitalia app. When you get to the platform before you get on the train, you look at your ticket, and so you click the My Journeys button, and your ticket comes up, and you press that ticket, and there's a little button at the bottom of your screen that says Check In. Press that button before you get on the train, and the little QR code on your ticket will have a green box around it, and it will say Validated, so you're good to go then. That normally almost 99.99999% of the time that works well. Occasionally there's a problem. Just a few weeks ago, I was in Rome and I was getting on a train to Orvieto, and it was a Regionale. And because of I guess it was a marathon happening in the city that day, that was on a weekend, probably a Saturday. There was the buses took a long, circuitous route to get to Rome Termine, the main train station where we were leaving from, and we got there just as the train was pulling out. So I had to find an alternative, and indeed there was an alternative. I could use that same ticket, they told me, at another station. It was another station. I had to get on the subway to go to that station, but it wasn't a big deal. Got on the subway, went to that station, and try to press the validate button, and it wouldn't validate for me. I tried to change the ticket. I had even gone to the ticket office to make sure that it was going to be okay, and the colleague at the train ticket office there at that station said, no problem, just get on the train, it'll be fine. So I'm waiting for the train to come, and the train pulls in, and as I'm getting on the train, an announcement's made that says, if you have the app and you're using a virtual ticket, make sure you check in before you get on the train or you will be fined. So
se hai acquistato un biglietto digitale regionale, ricorda di fare il check-in prima dell'orario programmato di partenza di
This is
questo
a very
treno.
important
In caso di
announcement.
difficoltà, rivolgiti immediatamente al capotreno per non incorrere nella maggiorazione prevista.
If you have purchased a digital regional ticket, please check in before the scheduled departure time of the selected train. In case of difficulty, please consult immediately the train manager to avoid incurring any additional charges.
So I did what you do when you have a problem with a ticket on a train in Italy. I walked down the train. I kept looking through each door, each exit door, until I found the one where the capo was sitting outside, and I explained to him, and he says, "Oh, it's not a problem." And he took my phone and he clicked it, and he couldn't make it work either. So he said, "I just go to your seat. I'll talk to you later. It'll be fine." And so we did that. Went to the seat, and he came back a little later. He already knew my name at that point, which was very interesting. But he said, "There's no problem," and he said, "You're fine to go. Thank you for letting me know," and everything. So yeah, the important thing is if you're on a Regionale train, you have to validate before you get on the train, either by punching your ticket in a validator machine if you have a paper ticket, or if you have a ticket on the app, to go ahead and press the check-in button. And that's it from this beautiful piazza in Parma, Italy. I'm going to go get myself a little panino. There's a little market going on across the way there, and have a little snack, and head back to the apartment to do a little video editing. So hope wherever you are, life is good. I hope you're traveling, and I hope that if you come to Italy, you will not be afraid to take the Italian trains, because they are fantastic.